all by myself tonight because I'm by myself. We are talking about Lethal Weapon Season 2, Episode 3, Born to Run. Stay tuned after that opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
If you guys weren't sick of this song from the episode because it played like 5 times, then you ain't living. Hey guys, I am here at AFTERBUZZ TV talking about Lethal Weapon Season 2, Episode 3, Born to Run. I am your host, Alexis Torres. You can find me all over the internet at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890. Definitely, as you can see, because there's nobody here, definitely follow all of my co-hosts. They're all awesome. Petra, Candace, and Kelly. Definitely check them all out. I can't reiterate all of their Twitters right now, but you know where to find them because they did an amazing job last week handling the fort while I was away. So we're just doing a trade-off, you know. They're out on missions, making sure pop stars are doing what they're doing and protected, and I'm just here just holding down the fort, you know what I'm saying? But definitely don't forget to check out the live chat. We are going to be bringing that up so I can see. Definitely check out on Twitter and share the show and everything because I want to know what you guys think because some pretty crazy stuff happened in this episode, especially with Palmer and Riggs. What? Anyway, let's get into it. So, I love that we opened up with Jojo. I don't know if anyone else recognized her or sorry, Shay is her name. If you don't know who Jojo is, she's a pretty big artist. I mean, she still is, but she was a bigger artist back in like the early 2000s. She had cherry coke red hair, and she sang this song called Leave Get Out. Google it. I'm not gonna sing it here because it's not as good when I do it. I don't do it any justice. But she was pretty big in the pop world for a long time. She actually did a little bit of acting, or still doing a little bit of acting. She did some mermaid movie was the last time I think I heard of her on TV, or at least film-wise. And then she had a new album come out, which, again, you can clearly hear in this episode because they played it, I think, about like 4 or 5 times. Like, I feel like I went crazy because I felt like I heard it a lot, but I don't know, maybe it was just me. But that song that played, which is called FAB, ooh, there you go. FAB, you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. Not like I'm sponsoring her or anything, just letting you know. So she's obviously leaving, it looks like a premiere or a debut or something like that, and she's getting into her, I guess, limousine, car, whatever. And I love it because most of the time, especially pop stars, they usually have like a lot of security, but it looked like I think there was only security coming out of the building, and then there was just like one guy who was driving her, and I was like, nah, I feel like someone would like go with her or follow her or something, but I guess whatever. And of course she goes to like the makeout spot, you know, at like, I don't even know, like here in LA, I don't even know where you would call it. It looks like it's probably up like the PCH or something, Pacific Coast Highway, for anyone who's never been here before. And yeah, it was weird, but like that's kind of what you do like when you're teenagers. You find like a spot and you go make out. Sorry kids if I've ruined everything. Sorry parents if I just gave your kids tips. But also I want to thank everybody before I continue with everyone in the chat. I see Steven, Oten, I always forget if I always say that incorrectly. I see Billie Jean Girl, Ari, oh, I always mess up your name and I always feel really bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna try because I'm terrible and I don't want to ruin your beautiful name. Megan, and I think I saw Tanya in there earlier. I could be wrong. Yeah, there she is. It's really good seeing you guys. Thank you guys for helping me out since I'm obviously by myself. Also, thanks. Shout out to Brianna, who's hitting the 1s and 2s for me as I'm sitting here like a loner in the studio. But yeah, so, you know, they're getting some hanky-panky on, and we see the car that was following them earlier, videotaping them, and they pretty much hit the gas, run into the car, and start shooting at it. I thought that was a little bit of overkill, not to be punny there. The fact that he was shooting at the car as he's about to like push it off the edge of the cliff. Like I was like, one of these things is like someone's gonna die. Also, I didn't even realize that he wanted to kill her right away. But again, I'm also glad that she didn't die in the beginning. Like I'm glad that we actually got to keep her for the rest of the episode. Like it was really nice to just be like, yeah, she's here, she's gonna help out. So I thought that was really, really cool. And then obviously we get, I'm trying to bring up my notes here. We get Riggs and Palmer in the car talking about something. It seemed really serious at the time. And then obviously you see, I was going to say Keisha, Trish and Roger talking. And all of a sudden we see that obviously it's brunch. I definitely thought that it was nighttime when we saw the preview for last week. I thought it was like dinner or something, but brunch is always fun. So I'm kind of new to the brunch scene, so because I usually just don't get up early enough to hit brunch, so that's just me though. But pretty much they're there just to get to know Palmer because their relationship has started up again and everything seems cool. I mean, I know a lot of people. Okay, all right, that's what I thought. Definitely overkill. Just shove the car over the cliff. I agree. I don't understand why we need to do that, but that's just me. You know, can't be an overachiever with my kills, apparently. I don't know. So yeah, Riggs and Palmer come over, having a good time. Mimosas are flowing. Very last Boy Scout. Wait, what did I just read? Oh yeah, nice. I lost my thought. Oh yeah, so Palmer and Riggs show up. They pretty much are having a great time. That spread looked amazing, by the way. I'd just say, and also just because I haven't eaten dinner, so I'm hungry. And they're just having a good time. Like, it was really nice seeing the four of them together. Obviously, Murtaugh and Riggs were a little uncomfortable because they're like, this is weird. Why is my girlfriend and your wife wanting to get friendly? Like, this is awkward. But I really liked it. I thought it was really nice, like, having them together, sit down and, like, really get to know Palmer. Also, I know there's a lot of Palmer haters out there. I mean, I love her, the actress. Like, I think she's amazing. Also, she looked really good in every shot that she was in. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if they changed up her makeup or the lighting or something. Like, it was insane how, like, she was glowing in every shot that she was in, especially during brunch. I mean, especially next to Keisha Sharp, who's this immaculate human being in general. It's just that the fact that there was two beautiful women just chatting. It was really nice. I don't know. It's probably just me being silly, but like I enjoyed it. Obviously Riggs was starting to get really uncomfortable, especially because he kind of asked Palmer to move in with him, and we're just like, oh, okay, baby steps. I like it. But then obviously they leave to go deal with the homicide. So we get a new face, which I know a lot of, at least from what I was seeing on Twitter, that there was definitely a lot of ladies who were totally fine with our new guy, Zach Bowman, who's pretty much, I guess, so he is a cop. I don't know if anyone caught on to that, because I know that they said he was a model, you know, because he was on the poster. And I did love, I mean, it's a little bit later on in the episode, but I love that he was like, I'm tired of people just, you know, seeing me for my looks. I really want to learn the job. So I'm assuming he's a real cop, but, or at least a cop in training, detective in training. But I like the deputy chief was like, yeah, go follow these two. One, so they can give me recon. Two, because you need to learn how this works. So go. But I love that, like, everywhere he went, he was always getting free stuff or getting checked out or something like that. So I really loved that they kind of switched it up instead of having, like, a female, like a really hot-looking female getting a bunch of stuff or getting, not noticed, but the fact that she's getting catcalled or whatever. Like, it was, like, a handsome gentleman who's like, I just want to be here. I want to learn. I want to be the best cop. And, you know, deputy chief told me to go follow you guys. So I also love that Murtaugh was kind of like, I've seen you before. What's happening? Where have I seen your face? And the fact that he was on a poster is pretty funny. I don't know. I enjoyed it. So I really like what they're doing with this new character. I'm hoping that he stays for a long period of time. I'm not quite sure if he's just going to pop in and out from time to time, or if he's actually going to be staying with the original crew. Megan says, oh, the soup, it's so weird. I like Palmer in the white collar, but for some reason I don't like her here. Okay. At least he didn't shoot into the car like Bruce Willis in the movie. Nice. It was the love she was feeling for Riggs. Oh, Megan, that's so nice. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't mind him. I think it's just kind of nice to have a new person in the group. But like I said, I don't know. Do you guys think he's going to last? Do you guys think he's just like a pop-up character? Also, I'm upset because where's Carlos? Wait, Carlos? Was that right? Yeah, the guy from last year. I'm like sad because I really want him to come back. So I really hope that he comes back. Or not. I don't know. I really want him to come back. I really liked his character. Also, tell me if I said the wrong name, because I feel like Cruz. Oh my God, thank you, Megan. I am the worst. So Cruz, I really want him to come back. I think that he was a really good character, and it's kind of weird now seeing that Bailey has a new character, or no, sorry, a new partner, which it's also kind of unfortunate because now she kind of has a newbie that she has to take care of. When Cruz, he was technically more of a guy who kind of already knew the beat, but had a new way of looking at it, which I really, really liked. That's why I liked his character. But I'm assuming the actor who plays Cruz probably has other projects that he's doing, and that's why he's not on the show. But I'm hoping that he comes back, or at least make an appearance. That would be really cool, just like for an episode. I don't know if anyone else is on the same boat as me. I would just like it. Anyway, so we get to meet the manager, Phil Green. He immediately, I don't know if anybody else felt this way, when he came on screen, I immediately go, either this guy did it or he knows something and is not telling us, because he seemed extremely skeevy when we first met him. I don't know. That is just what I was feeling, and I don't know, y'all. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, because I didn't like him at all, and clearly it showed in the rest of the show. And we find out that she is currently dating someone, Shay, aka Jojo, is currently dating someone. His name was Michael, because of the fact that they're trying to figure out who would be trying to kill her. So they find out that he's a photographer, and he was doing a wedding that weekend, or I guess the next day, or that day, something like that. No, that day. That's right, because they went right after they left. Oh, thank you, Steven. And so they go, and also, mind you, that wedding looked really cool. I don't know, like, what the layout was and everything, but, like, the colors and everything was really, really nice. I guess because of the fact that I just had a wedding, I've been, like, I can see it now. I'm like, ooh, those decorations are really cool, and those dresses were probably really nice, and this, and this. So I kind of picked up on that, so I was a little distracted during the episode. But I liked that the phrase, I don't know if it was just me, but the phrase of, like, oh, she's helping put on, or helping put up the maid of honor. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? But in my brain, I was like, okay, wait, photographer. Got it. Not surprised. Maybe we'll find out that Cruz had to move to a different department because he and Bailey are together and can be partners. Megan, that's a great theory, and I will keep that for now instead of it being like, oh, he's actually just in a different TV show. I'll take it. Anyway, so, like, the fact that she, like, I don't remember what the phrase was. It was, like, helping the maid of honor, like, put in the maid of honor or something like that. And I was like, that's a weird phrase to say. But obviously they were trying to, like, set up the scene of, like, oh, they're actually just stupping. So, all right, cool. And, like, it was pretty common, the fact that, like, the photographer's missing. Also, it's just a guy. I mean, like, most of the time you want to think, oh, he's a professional. He's probably taking photos of just the maid of honor. But at least to my knowledge, again, Brianna, if you want to chime in as a person who's done weddings before, I don't think the photographer just takes one bridesmaid or one maid of honor and takes sole pictures of them.
Not a good one.
Yeah, thank you. That's why I was like, that's kind of weird. Because, like, I understand if you're doing groups, because there was photography on the outside and there were groups of the bridesmaids, but they're like, oh yeah, they're helping the maid of honor upstairs. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? So, no. I already knew. I was like, okay, all right, sure. So clearly we found them naked and, you know, getting a little bit of an afternoon delight before the ceremony starts, which I'm like, that's it's brave, because you gotta put your makeup back on and your hair, and I feel like there's just not enough time to be dealing with that before. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know, maybe it just felt like for me, because I felt like my wedding went by so freaking quick that I would be like, where do you find time? How do you do that? So, but the next part I wasn't anticipating. So they're pretty much interrogating him, trying to find out where he was that night to see if it was him. And Shay shows up and is just like, oh, you're cheating on me, you know, because the fact that I thought that was her ex-boyfriend. I didn't realize that they were still together. So then she comes in and did, like, that wind up that she did of, like, smacking him across the face was like a full wind up. I couldn't tell if it was like her left hand or if she backhanded that. That was insane. Helping is what we're calling it now. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was with you, because she, like I said, I couldn't tell if she was using her left hand or she actually wound up the back of her hand and smacked him woof, that thing, it looked like it hurt so bad. But then, of course, you know, he gets up or whatever, and he goes to the balcony, and at this point I'm like, oh, they're just gonna argue. But when Riggs picks Shay up and he goes, the legs, I was like, no, they're not gonna kill off this character, are they? And she kicked him off the balcony and he fell. I was like, oh my gosh, they killed this character. But then he landed in the wedding cake, which I'm not quite sure what would have been worse. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously his death would have been worse. But the fact that he landed in the wedding cake in front of the bride and groom and the parents and everybody was just like, naked, butt naked, in your birthday suit. Oh my God. I don't even know what I would do. I don't know what you guys would do. It sounded painful. I definitely thought he was dead. But no, he was just injured. That was rough. Anyway, so come to find out that he was definitely with the sound design is great in this episode. I agree. It did sound extremely like hard when he fell. So we find out that I guess he was with the maid of honor. Because he was there for the rehearsal dinner. So, you know, And so we're back to square one. But again, at this point in time, I definitely thought it was the manager because the way that he was acting. I know we kind of like cut away from that for a little bit when Trish was telling Palmer about the fact that he might be capable of loving, because the fact that they seemed, I love their tell that Riggs is doing better is that he showers. So I really appreciated that. So I really just wanted to see more Palmer Trish talking, I guess, or chatting or getting to know each other. But I guess at the end of this episode, which I'm going to ask you, I guess we're not going to get that anymore. So we'll see. So Murtaugh goes home, finds out that there's a website called shaynation.com where pretty much this person posts everything that she's doing, where she's going, all that kind of stuff. So like TMZ kind of, or just like a crazy fan page. And they find out that Shay and her manager got into a pretty big fight, at this restaurant called Boyle. And then we get this weird reaction from Murtaugh, which you guys know I'm very, very in tune with ranting about my boy, because he always gets himself into trouble. So be ready. There will be a rant in a few minutes. Just pointing that out there. Anyway, so Trish tells him that, yeah, we were just there and I was there with my boss. And of course, immediately Murtaugh's like, alone? Sounds like a date. The place is real fancy. And she's like, yeah, I'm on the date with my boss. And I think she said the interns, and then like these other people, like all. So she's like, yeah, we're all gonna do it again tomorrow. And it was just weird. Megan says maybe Trish and Palmer will still be friends, and Palmer and Riggs will get thrown back together when Riggs is a little better off. Maybe. I do like that. I think that'd be interesting. At least they didn't leave the cake out in the rain. Ooh, yeah, that would suck. But yeah, so where was I? I forgot where my place was. Oh, so yeah, so I thought that was a little weird that he like immediately got jealous, because I'm like, she's not by herself with her boss. She's with a bunch of people. So I thought that was weird. But again, you guys know how Murtaugh works. He's just in his own head all the time. So they pretty much try to see if they talk to the manager. And Riggs kind of pretty much, after like babysitting or whatever, or trying to watch Shay, they realize that he's kind of the worst, and the fact that he saw that she had bruises on her shoulder and her neck, shoulder, and arm, pretty much. And it's crazy, because if you haven't been living under a rock, there's been some crazy stuff happening in the news about like people of power abusing or sexually harassing or whatever. Not whatever, but obviously it's a serious thing of people that they work with, you know. So I thought that was like, whoa. Obviously they didn't plan for that, because they planned for these episodes in advance, but it was kind of crazy how they were able to do that. I mean, we kind of find out a little bit later that he was technically, if you want to put it, protecting her, but he should never put his hands on a client. That's obviously rule number freaking one. So it was very interesting to see Riggs see that and kind of fish for what he wanted to hear, but I mean, again, it would make sense because it would be someone in power or someone who has control over her career, which she did say. It wasn't an ex-boyfriend because they're old bruises. It's not a bodyguard, it was Phil. And I love that Murtaugh also found that out by asking, like, hey, like, what have you been up to? And he's like, he clearly was trying to make up some crazy thing, saying like, oh, are you gonna believe the blogs? Like, that's just some stupid fan who said that. And of course, Riggs comes running in and immediately goes, did you hurt your client, or did you put your hands on your client? And it looked like Phil was kind of panicking, but not at the same time. And I mean, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I definitely would have punched him in the face, just like Riggs did, because he is a piece of crap. And I don't tolerate people who think that they can overpower a woman just because they can, or because the fact that they hold their career in their hands. Like, ugh, it makes me sick. But again, I don't want to get in too much of a soapbox because, again, I'm thinking of things that are happening right now in the world, and I'm just like, oh, Lethal Weapon, you couldn't have picked a better time to air this episode. It's kind of insane. Anyway, so he gets punched. Obviously, Riggs gets in trouble with the deputy chief and pretty much is like, you can take the rest of the day off because... And I thought it was interesting that she actually didn't believe that Riggs was this unhinged. Like, she understood that he was messed up. She understood, like, what his background was and what he went through, and hearing all the stories of what Riggs was doing, and then said, oh, it's all an act and you better get a new one. And I was like, okay, deputy chief. Like, I get why she's trying to think of the fact of, like, dealing with all the collateral damage that could be happening because of his stunts. And also, yeah, sorry, I was looking at the chat for like a split second. And understanding that he could put his partner in danger or the rest of the other officers or detectives. So I understand where she's coming from, but I felt like it just came out of left field to be like, get a new act, But again, I understand where she's coming as a professional. Like, I get it. And of course, Roger tried so hard to see if he can work with Riggs and trying to find out, like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And, Riggs was just like, no, it doesn't matter. I got the whole day off. I'm just going to hang out with my lady. Bye. And we get, again, this is where the rant starts. Roger. So Roger Murtaugh decides to go to Boyle because he knows that his wife is there with her colleagues. Mostly, he had an ulterior motive. He needed to get the footage, or at least use a lawyer to get or prosecutor, yeah, to get his wife to be able to let her know that I need to get the footage from the security footage from Boyle. And of course, never, ever just drop in when your wife's clearly in, like, a meeting. Like, you can probably drop by and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? But text, call, something. But I'm assuming that maybe because she was in the middle of her meeting, she probably couldn't answer her phone. But still, because of the fact that they check in all the time, which they brought up earlier in the episode, that she would think, oh, man, this must be important. Hang on, guys, let me take a second. Let me just answer this real quick. Instead of you just showing up unannounced and just in the middle of her colleagues. And also, like, again, this is where my rant starts. Number one, how dare you, Roger Murtaugh, go, why do these people not know who I am? That is not how life works. These people don't care that she's married or that she needs to know who you are, your bio, your background, your job. Like, nobody cares. Clearly, she's here to have a job. She's doing her thing. This is my opinion. I'm not saying that if you guys believe something opposite, I think it's great. I want to hear the discussion. But I think that, number one, like, don't do that. Don't just be all uppity because of the fact that none of her colleagues know who you are. She doesn't have to sit there and be like, hi, my name's Trish Murtaugh. My husband is Detective Murtaugh. He works for the LAPD. And he's a little bit sensitive about our relationship. Just saying. Anyway, coffee? No, that's not how that works. She's there to get the job done, work with these people, and they all go home to their personal lives. No need to bring it to work unless they bring it up. Hey, Trish, you married? You single? What's going on? And then she can go, no, I'm married. My husband is a detective. If she wants, or just leave it at married. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why he got all uppity at the fact that these people didn't know who the hell he was. It's not important. That was my main thing. Two, Trish told him, you need to get a subpoena if you want this footage. You can't just take it. That's not how that works. But what did he do, guys? What did he do? What did he do? He got the footage. That's what he did. He got the footage illegally. Like, he just took it. So I mean, I also was like kind of distracted because the fact that we had Zach Bowman pretty much, you know, being upset at the fact that he wants to be taken seriously, and like the lady came over and gave him, what was it? Gave him a free dessert and something else. I couldn't remember what it was, but he's like, I want to take this job seriously, and I want people to understand that I'm trying to ask them questions to help with that. And he told the perps about her. Yeah, exactly. Sorry. I'm thank you, Megan, for bringing that up. The fact that he's like, oh, I'll occasionally tell the perps, you know, even show a picture. And I'm like, don't do that. Because that's the other thing. If you tell perps, I mean, again, I couldn't tell if it was a joke or not, if he was actually meaning it. But if you tell a perp that you have a wife and what she looks like, what if, let's say, you put this perp away and he resents you and then comes after, not after you specifically, but goes, that's what it was. She gave him the free dessert and the footage. Thank you. I was trying to figure out how they were able to get that. Thank you, Megan. But the fact that this perp could go back and be like, I'm going to hurt your wife. Thank you for showing me to her. You know, like that might be a little bit too much of reality in that aspect or whatever. But like, people are crazy. Criminals are crazy. You never know. I mean, not all criminals, but you know what I mean? Like, there could be someone who's like out to get you. And now that you've shown this picture of your wife, you never know. He could hold on to that. I don't know, you know? So, like, I don't know. I feel like it's not necessary, but whatever. So they move on, and, I'm trying to go through my stuff. Oh, so when we look through the footage, we find out that some random dude was following her, which we kind of saw in the beginning, but that Phil knew who he was. So we have to deal with the fact that clearly Phil knows the manager knows who he is, and Shay clearly knows who he is. And so when they show the footage to Shay and the manager, and because he got punched, he brought in extra security. What a punk. That he did it again. He put his hand on her shoulder, and I was like, I got all skeeved out, and I was just like, I really just need you to stop touching her. That would be great. That would be so great. And pretty much was like, we're done here. You need to leave. If you want to come back, you need a warrant. And I was just like, oh my God, you are the scum of the earth, you piece of crap. So pretty much we clearly know that they know who this person is, and they ran it through a database to find out who he is. He's squeaky clean because he doesn't, or at least they couldn't find anything at the time. And then, lo and behold, Trish shows up to the precinct to go, I'm sorry, I snapped. I felt guilty. So you know what? I got the footage for you. But what were they watching, guys? They were watching the footage. And immediately, I love the shot too, like how it was framed, how Bailey and Bowman were kind of there, and like Bowman was kind of like, oh boy. And Bailey, like, who knows Trish very well, is just like, oh God, what have you done, you dumb person? And I love how she's like, Bailey, can we have the room, please? And like, she doesn't know who this person's name is. Can you go? I need the room for a second. And I was like, I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see it, but at the same time, maybe it's just because I'm a terrible person. But yeah, no, Murtaugh's in the doghouse for this episode because he done effed up. You done messed up, Murtaugh. Why? Like, doesn't make sense. So, but we get a cut to Riggs kind of, at the hotel with Palmer, and they're kind of going through a weird moment and trying to figure out the relationship and where it stands and how to do this relationship thing, because the fact that she's been working for the DEA and also he's going through a change and it doesn't end well, because the way that the argument played out, and then he's like, I need to go shower, I gotta go. And of course he did the usual thing where he turns on the water and is, trying to get out of there. And pretty much it was such a weird transition too, because the fact that he's like, hey, so I think I really messed up with Palmer. Like, sexually? What? Why is that the first thing that comes to your mind, Murtaugh? Like, why would you go, oh man, what happened? Did you say something stupid? Like, something like that. Why would you immediately go, oh, you messed up in the sack, didn't you? Like, why was that? Why? I don't understand. It was really weird. And I love that Riggs was like, what? No. You know what? Forget it. And I love it because he was trying to open up. He was trying to make progress and open up to Murtaugh, and he messed it up. This is why he's in the doghouse. This is exactly the reason why, because he's a dumb human being. He's a dumb. And so he's like, you know what? Forget it. Also, it was not sexually. And he leaves. But I love that Palmer picked up. She's like, so that's weird. That's really weird don't lie to me. If you want to leave, just leave. And he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, you went in there to go take a shower. You're not wet. There's no towel. And the shower is still running. And he's just like, that is weird. But again, I would say that you started the water and then you got a call from Murtaugh and just go, I didn't get to go in because I got a call. And now I'm fully dressed because I have to go do a case. And it looked like he tried to play it off and trying to be like, oh, you're a great detective, hon. Okay, love you, bye, mwah, and like leaves. But deep down, Palmer it got to her, clearly. And it didn't work very well for them. So obviously they go to, what was it? Now, see, I forgot. I gotta look at my notes. They find out who the person who was following Shay, his name is Bobby Claypool, who's an ex of Shay. And at first I was like, did he kill somebody? Because he went to jail for killing somebody. And of course they call Shay immediately, tell him that we found out who this person is and like, hey, like what happened, And she's like, no, he didn't kill anybody. I did. And immediately we see the door, like as she walks past the hallway, that the doorway is open or front door is open, and Phil is being held at gunpoint by our perp, Bobby. I was not, and again, I thought that he was just going to be held up in the house. I definitely wasn't expecting the next part, which was kind of insane. So, I know I'm trying to wrap it up here because we only have like 10 minutes. So, we get to the point where Riggs and Murtaugh, come in, and they see that the house is empty. All the guards have I couldn't tell if they were killed or if they were just knocked out. I wasn't quite sure. And we find out from Rihanna, who's checking out ShayNation.com and seeing that there's a Periscope going on, a live Periscope, which again is crazy how I love that the show brings in social media to kind of work with crime here. It's kind of intense. It's super cool. I mean, not that murder is great and that it should be lively aired, but like the fact that they can take stuff that's happening clearly in present day and make it extra scary, especially, in just social media times in general. Because I think I've always thought that social media can save you or can really harm people. It's a very interesting topic. But anyway, so the fact that he's live periscoping, him in the front seat, Shay in the driver's seat, but her hands are duct taped to the steering wheel and she can't go anywhere. It was intense. So the fact that they're driving on the PCH is what I'm assuming, and he's sitting there, moving the car around and like hitting the gas, and she's freaking out. It was insane. And so they're periscoping the entire time, and so they finally get in the car. They go after them, and Riggs, of course, goes off-roading with their car and is able to crash into them right at like the edge of where they were going to drive off, because pretty much what he was going to say was he wanted her to admit that she was the one that killed this pedestrian, who it was technically an accident. He just walked out onto the road and like he was just walking, they missed it, and yeah, pretty lousy security, I agree. Yeah, nice. Brain, now I forgot what I was doing. Oh, the fact that it was an accident because it was probably dark or something, and he walked out in the middle of the road, or was crossing the road, and he got hit and he died. And so they made a deal that he was going to go to jail for 5 years as long as she took care of him. Clearly, she tried, but Phil wouldn't let her, again with the manipulating piece of crap that he is. I mean, I get it. He was trying to protect her, but at the same time, like, you also don't know how crazy this person is. Like, it's just, ugh. And so he's like, okay, admit the truth. And she did. But he's like, nope, I want more. I want us to die together, because he's completely insane. So pretty much they're about to drive off a cliff. Riggs ends up, I guess, T-boning them because he technically hit right at the edge of their car to swing them around. And so they run over, they get him out of the car and have him cuffed. And then I love this part where everyone's watching and they're like holding their breath because everyone at the precinct is watching, everyone at home is watching, and they're watching Murtaugh get her out of the car. And I love the moment where Rihanna's like, damn, Dad, you know, like, it was really cool. And the fact that even Trish, who was technically still mad at him at the time, was like, you know, Roger Mayfield Murtaugh, I think was his middle name. I'm so confused. So let me know if I got that right. But I knew it was Roger something Murtaugh. I'm assuming it's Mayfield, but like I said, I could be completely wrong. I'm not good with names, as you can see, because I technically called Cruz Carlos, which I feel really terrible about. So please don't crucify me just yet. So at this point now, they're about to let the car fall, and I was supposed to call her Jojo. Shay goes, "No, Phil's in the trunk," which I forgot that he was in the trunk because I did mention it that I said we're all gonna die today, which meaning that Phil was in the car with them, and I'm just reading the chat real quick. Steven, like that time at NCS when they solved the case over Twitter. Nice. I tried to get into NCSI, but I couldn't even after the first episode. Feel ya, girl, feel ya. I know what you did last summer, but closer to the book than the movie. Cool. Not for everyone, I guess. I also agree. Not to say that it's bad. I couldn't get myself into it. Anyway, so we have a very interesting moment where Riggs comes into the car, opens up the trunk, and then also, which again is a very safe thing to, if you're ever trapped in an older car, just kick, you know, or try to either kick or move the back seat, because usually you can get access to a trunk that way. I learned that in a self-defense class from a cop. That was actually really cool, where he took that off. But again, oh, I did? Yay, thank you, Tanya. That he's like, admit that you hurt her. And of course, like, in this point in time, everyone who's watching is going, Riggs, what are you doing? And he's like, admit it. Admit to me that you hurt her and you're never going to do it again. And he did. And I definitely thought he was going to let that car fall, for sure, with Phil in it. But I'm also really proud of Riggs that he was able to get him out and let the car fall, because that definitely wouldn't have ended well for him, because that was rough. But it looks like everyone's going to end up going to jail, pretty much. I mean, I'm assuming Phil's going to go to jail because of her abuse. But the fact that Shay is going to jail because she did technically kill somebody, and obviously Bobby's going to go to jail because he pretty much kidnapped a pop star and tried to attempt murder. What a crazy, crazy bunch of people. Media, yay! Anyway, but that was pretty much it with that. We get a nice little tie-up with Palmer and Riggs, which again, this is my question. Did they break up? It felt like a breakup. The fact that Riggs was trying to come over with flowers, it's just very, very predictable, especially in this kind of stuff. Shot from the trunk, looking down, scared me because of heights. Oh, I bet that was a rough thing. But again, that's why I'm asking, because I couldn't tell, because obviously she lied saying that she was halfway to the airport when really she was actually just waiting to leave, and then just talking about how their relationship is. But I think that they broke up, but that's why I'm asking. Some people are like, I don't know, did they? Are they taking a break? I don't know, because I mean, she is going back to DC. If she comes back out here, I don't know if they're taking a break because she has to go back or whatever, but at least with me, you know, it's not they're on a break. It's like they broke up. Like that was what it was, you know. And I know a lot of people are really happy about this because then we can bring beautiful Cahill into the mix. Some people are upset because Palmer, I did like Palmer. I do like them together. I think it's really nice, but I also wouldn't mind seeing Cahill and Riggs together. So whatever the writers are deciding to put Riggs' love life into, or if they're just going to leave him alone, whatever they feel, I think it'll be interesting to see. I think it hurt, but at the same time, I'm excited to see what will happen, because the fact that Riggs has changed so much in the last few minutes of this episode, and how he's really opened up to Palmer, that I'm hoping that this doesn't not reset him, but put him back a few steps, because the fact that he finally felt vulnerable enough to be with somebody, and then she kind of rejected him. And that sucks, you know? So we'll see. I'm very intrigued to see how Riggs's whole thing is going to do. I'm also really happy that the chief deputy, that she is starting to kind of get with, you know, the whole like complimentary sandwich, you know, that they were doing, and how she's like, okay, you guys did really good teamwork. You guys did a lot of terrible things, but you also got you got 3 bad guys. So, you know, just be careful. Which again, that's what Captain Avery was all about. So I like that she's kind of easing up, especially from the last episode. I wasn't here, but I am so upset that she totally lied to him and then did the finger linger, you guys. I'm upset. I didn't talk about that because I wasn't here last episode, but she's just she knows what she's doing, and I'm just like, you're gonna cause trouble. But anyway, so but yeah, the episode was really fun. Again, I felt really bad for Riggs, but I'm really hoping that, again, this opens up something new. I felt bad for Murtaugh just a tiny bit, even though he kind of deserved it, that he was excited because everyone's like, oh, you're a hero, and you saved that girl, that pop star, oh my gosh. And then everybody who is technically a fan or a younger, like a teenager or in that demographics, like, you ruined her career, you're a monster. So I was kind of like in between. I was like, oh yeah, good for you, but also, oh, that really sucks. It's unfortunate, but you also deserved it, but it's also really unfortunate. So yeah, so I thought this episode was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm really intrigued to see what you guys thought, especially because I know West Coast fans are watching it right now, but East Coast fans, thank you guys for hanging out with me and all my lonesome predictions for next week. I don't have any because they didn't really give us that much of a teaser. We just know that they've got stuff to deal with. So I'm very intrigued to see what their next case is going to be, because again, they didn't give us much details. So I don't know what will happen, but it will be fun. But again, next week, my full panel should be back, and we'll all be here to talk about how much we love Lethal Weapon. Again, don't forget, you guys, to hit up the comments below if you're watching this later. Hi. Definitely don't forget to tweet and show the love for the show and the network, because it's awesome. Again, if you're also new to the show, welcome. If you're not new and you're always here every week, welcome back. I am your host, Alexis Torres. You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. I hope you guys didn't mind my rambling, because I definitely rambled for an hour, I think. Or at least maybe a little bit later, maybe 45 minutes, but I definitely rambled, so I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. Or again, if you're watching later, just sticking with me after, because that was a lot of words. But definitely find all my co-hosts on social medias. Definitely check us out for the next few things. We're also still trying to get a lot of the awesome actors on the show, so definitely tweet at them, let them know about the show, tell them to come by. And we will see you guys next week, next Tuesday, for episode 4 at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, always and forever. Have a wonderful night. Mwah! Bye, people! Bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, fingerlinger. Haha.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.